When society tells you that a woman's value is measured by the money she has, it is lying. It whispers in your ear that if your bank account is empty, you are nothing. That if you cannot buy luxuries, you cannot command respect. That if you depend on someone else for money, your life is incomplete. And you, in moments of quiet, may have believed it. You may have looked at your reflection and wondered, am I enough? You may have measured yourself against others' success, their salaries, their possessions, and felt small, invisible, unworthy. But hear this truth, Wes, your worth is never in your wallet. Your value is in your mind, your courage, your spirit, your heart. O sec, money is fleeting. It comes and goes. It rises and falls. It can be taken, lost, or spent in a single instant. But your essence, your energy, your ability to create, to love, to rise after failure, that cannot be bought or stolen. A woman with no money today can be a queen tomorrow if she knows her power. She can become unstoppable if she refuses to tie herself, esteem to numbers on a screen or coins in a purse. Every single one of us is capable of greatness, not because of what we have, but because of fasav who we are. Look around at the world. How many people are rich in money but poor in respect, in love, in vision? How many have wealth and yet live unfulfilled, unmotivated, unsure of their purpose? And how many women with empty pockets have hearts full of dreams, minds brimming with ideas, and spirits strong enough to move mountains? The woman who wakes up every day, who faces her challenges, who refuses to give in to despair is priceless. She may have no financial security, but she has resilience, courage, and determination, qualities that money could never buy. You may think, but money makes life easier. Money gives freedom. Without it, I am trapped. And yes, money is useful. It is necessary for survival, for comfort, for security, but it is not a measure of your value. Do not confuse the two. To measure your worth by the balance of your bank account is like measuring the sun by the size of a single ray. Your potential is infinite. Your energy is unquantifiable. Your ability to create change, to inspire others, to rise above circumstances cannot be placed in a ledger. Many women have begun with nothing, with no money, no connections, no support, and yet they have built empires, families, and lives they love. They did not start with wealth, they started with belief. Belief in themselves when no one else did. Belief in their worth when the world told them to feel small. Belief in their ideas, their skills, their capacity to overcome obstacles. And this belief is the most powerful currency a woman can have. It is richer than gold. It is more valuable than diamonds. And it compounds faster than any investment because it is eternal. Your value is reflected in your choices, not your possessions. It is reflected in the way you treat yourself, in the way you treat others, in the way you respond to adversity. The woman who wakes up, studies, works, creates, and refuses to settle for less is already wealthy in the most important ways. Your money may fluctuate, but your integrity, your wisdom, and your courage do not. When you embrace this, the world shifts. Suddenly, the judgment of others loses power over you. Suddenly, the pressure to be rich, to be respected falls away, and you are free to pursue what truly matters. Growth, mastery, independence, and happiness. Many women tie their self-worth to the approval of others, the man who may or may not support them, the family who may or may not understand, the society that may or may not recognize their potential. And when money is absent, those pressures amplify. You feel judged, undervalued, invisible. But here is the truth. That's the only approval you need is your own. The only recognition that matters is your acknowledgement of your own effort, your own resilience, your own growth. You are the one who walks through the fire, who faces rejection, who confronts scarcity, who chooses to rise anyway. That alone makes you invaluable. A woman who has no money but has knowledge, wisdom, and vision is unstoppable. She may lack a wallet full of currency, but she holds the currency of ideas, strategy, and ambition. She can learn, adapt, pivot, and grow. She can create multiple streams of income, pursue skills that no one can take away, and become a self-sufficient force that no circumstance can shake. Money can be earned, borrowed, or invested, but the power of a woman who knows her worth is inimitable. Even in moments of despair, when bills pile up, when opportunities seem scarce, when doubt creeps in, you must remind yourself that your value is not tied to your finances. You are more than the weight of your debts, more than the limits of your current income, more than the judgment of those who do not see your potential. The woman who embraces this truth carries a magnetism that cannot be bought, a presence that commands respect, a light that inspires others even when she feels unseen. Think of the woman who starts today with nothing. She wakes up, she stretches her body, she sharpens her mind, she nurtures her spirit, she learns, she grows. She may not have wealth now, but she has ambition. She may not have security now, but she has resilience. She may not have comfort now, but she has vision. And these things, these qualities that define her, are priceless. They are the foundation on which she will build her empire. They are the fire that will guide her through scarcity. They are the proof that value is never about what you have. It is about, says, who you are and what you choose to do with the life you have been given. We are often told that money is the key to freedom, that wealth defines success, that without a thick bank account, a life cannot be lived fully. And yet, the truth is far different. Money can buy comfort, it can buy status, it can buy temporary happiness, but it cannot buy us creativity, adaptability, and the ability to make things happen. That is the power of resourcefulness, and resourcefulness is far greater than wealth. A woman who is resourceful can turn a situation of scarcity into an opportunity. She can create abundance from what appears to be nothing. She can navigate obstacles that money alone cannot overcome. Resourcefulness begins with a mindset. It begins with the refusal to see limitations as permanent, the refusal to accept, "I don't have enough," as the final answer. A resourceful woman sees potential where others see lack. She sees possibilities where others see barriers. She sees solutions where others only see problems. And this mindset is the foundation of empowerment because it does not depend on external circumstances. Money may come and go, but the ability to think, adapt, and act effectively is eternal. Consider the woman who starts with nothing. She has no savings, no support, perhaps even no guidance, and yet she manages to survive, to grow, to learn. She leverages her skills, her knowledge, her time, and her connections. She finds ways to earn, to create, to improve her situation. Perhaps she learns online for free. Perhaps she barters her skills for services. Perhaps she discovers opportunities others overlook. Every small act of resourcefulness compounds into real, tangible progress. While wealth might give someone a temporary advantage, resourcefulness builds sustainable power. Resourcefulness also demands courage. It requires the courage to step into uncertainty, to take risks, to try methods that are unconventional. A woman who is resourceful does not wait for permission or for the perfect moment. She acts. She experiments. She fails and she learns. She adapts her plan and tries again. While wealth may provide a cushion, it does not teach the lessons that come from doing, from failing, and from rising again. Resourcefulness equips a woman with just skills that cannot be taken away because they are embedded in her mind, her habits, and her determination. Being resourceful is about using what you have in ways others cannot imagine. It is about creativity in action. A woman may not have money, but she can have time, energy, relationships, and ideas. She can leverage her network, collaborate with others, exchange knowledge, and find paths that are invisible to those who depend solely on money. Resourcefulness transforms scarcity into abundance, and it transforms ordinary women into extraordinary leaders. Wealth can provide opportunities, but resourcefulness creates them. This principle applies in every area of life. In business, in career, in personal growth, in relationships. Those who are resourceful rise above those who simply rely on money. Consider the entrepreneur who starts with nothing but determination, using creativity to launch a product, connect with customers, and build a brand. Consider the mother who stretches every penny, finds ways to educate her children, and nurtures a household with ingenuity rather than income. Consider the student who lacks financial support but finds free resources, scholarships, and mentors, and eventually achieves excellence. In every case, the difference is resourcefulness, not wealth. Resourcefulness also cultivates resilience. When money runs out, when circumstances change, the resourceful woman finds another way. She does not panic. She does not give in to fear. She does not see scarcity as defeat. Instead, she sees it as a challenge to overcome. Every obstacle becomes a puzzle. Every limitation becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes an opportunity to innovate. Wealth can provide comfort, but it cannot teach adaptability the way resourcefulness does. The woman who can think on her feet, who can turn challenges into opportunities, who can act decisively with limited resources, she is unstoppable. Another essential aspect of resourcefulness is self-awareness. A woman who is resourceful knows her strengths, her weaknesses, her passions, and her skills. She knows where she can leverage what she has and where she needs to learn. She does not wait for someone to hand her success. She studies, she experiments, she observes, and she applies. This self-knowledge, combined with action, transforms limited resources into real measurable outcomes. Wealth may give the illusion of power, but resourcefulness delivers real, tangible results. Resourcefulness also nurtures creativity in problem solving. A woman with no money might find ways to barter, to negotiate, to trade skills, or to repurpose what she already has. She might turn a hobby into income, a challenge into a project, a scarcity into innovation. While someone with wealth might buy a solution, the resourceful woman creates her own, often discovering solutions more effective, sustainable, and meaningful than any purchase could provide. And in doing so, she gains confidence, independence, and skills that money could never buy. Finally, resourcefulness builds confidence. When a woman knows that she can handle any situation, that she can solve problems, that she can create value even from nothing, she gains a sense of security far greater than any financial account can offer. This confidence allows her to make bold choices, to pursue dreams that others might consider impossible, and to lead with authority and grace. She does not fear scarcity because she knows her ability to generate solutions, to adapt, to act is limitless. A woman who embraces resourcefulness understands that money is simply a tool, not a measure of her worth or ability. She values herself not for what she owns, but for what she can do. She knows that creativity, determination, courage, and adaptability, these are the real currencies of life. And while wealth may provide comfort, it is Caesar resourcefulness that provides freedom, opportunity, and power. Many women look at their dreams, their goals, their desired future, and feel overwhelmed. They see the life they want: financial independence, confidence, respect, success, stability, and they compare it to where they are now. And often they feel small, powerless, inadequate. They look at the gap between their current reality and their dreams, and it feels too wide to cross. They think, I will never get there. I have too little money, too little experience, too few opportunities. And in that moment, many give up before they even start. But the truth is that big change always begins with small steps, and the distance between where you are and where you want to be is not measured by leaps. It is measured by consistent movement, by tiny actions repeated every day. Every powerful woman, every successful woman, every independent woman began with one step. Not 10 steps, not 100 steps, just one. She woke up and decided to try even when the odds were against her. She invested a little time in learning, a little energy in building, a little courage in facing fear. And that step, as insignificant as it might have seemed at the time, set her on a path to transformation. Small steps accumulate, and when they do, they create momentum that carries you further than any single grand gesture ever could. The problem is that most people underestimate the power of small actions. They think, I must achieve everything at once or it's useless. They wait for the perfect opportunity, the perfect plan, the perfect moment, and while they wait, life passes by. But the reality is that perfection is a myth and waiting is a thief of dreams. The woman who moves, even imperfectly, even slowly, is the one who wins. Every tiny improvement compounds. Every small effort builds skills, confidence, and results. Think about a woman who wants to become financially independent but has no money. She might start by learning online for free, reading articles, watching videos, asking questions. That is one small step. Then she tries to save a tiny portion of what she earns, or she starts a small side hustle, or she takes on small projects to gain experience. Each of these steps may seem minor, almost invisible, but together they create progress. In a year, 6 months, even a few weeks, these small, repeated actions turn into noticeable change. The woman who starts today with even the tiniest effort is already ahead of the one who waits for perfection. Small steps also teach resilience. Change is not linear, it is messy. There will be setbacks, failures, disappointments, and moments when giving up feels easier than continuing. But the woman who takes small steps learns to adjust, to adapt, to persist. She learns that progress is measured not by dramatic leaps, but by consistency, by showing up every day, by refusing to quit. And in that persistence, she discovers something more valuable than money. She discovers her own strength, her own discipline, her own capacity to grow. Another reason small steps matter is that they make change manageable. Big change can feel impossible, but small steps break it into pieces you can handle. Want to improve your skills? Start with 1 hour a day. Want to save money? Start with a small amount. Want to build confidence? Start by speaking up once or setting one boundary. Each step is achievable, and each step builds belief. When a woman begins to see that small actions are possible, she begins to believe that bigger goals are within reach, and belief is the foundation of transformation. Small steps also create a sense of momentum. Once you start moving, even slightly, the universe responds. Opportunities appear, energy builds, confidence grows. The woman who acts even minimally becomes a magnet for progress because as action creates energy and energy attracts results. Waiting, in contrast, creates stagnation. Inaction leads to frustration, self-doubt, and despair. The smallest step forward is always more powerful than the grandest intention left unexecuted. Consider the compound effect of small steps. A woman might learn one new skill, then another. She might network with one person, then another. She might save a small amount of money each week, then each month. At first, the results are barely noticeable. But over time, these small actions multiply. Knowledge accumulates. Confidence strengthens, savings grow, skills sharpen. And one day, the change is no longer small, it is transformation. The woman who began with a single step now stands in a life she once thought impossible, not because of luck, not because of sudden wealth, but because she persisted, because she valued each small step, and because she refused to be paralyzed by the size of her dreams. Small steps also teach patience and humility. They remind you that progress is not instant, that mastery takes time, that growth is a journey, not a race. And in learning to honor small victories, a woman develops a mindset that will serve her for life. She learns gratitude for effort, discipline for action, and joy in movement, even when results are not immediate. This mindset, cultivated through small steps, is more valuable than any shortcut, more enduring than any temporary success, and more empowering than any windfall of money. Even the smallest action demonstrates courage. To begin to try to take one step despite fear, doubt, or scarcity is an act of bravery. Every small step signals to yourself and to the world that you are ready to grow, that you are willing to act, that you refuse to let circumstances define you. And each brave step makes the next one easier until fear no longer dictates your life, and the path to change becomes clear. The woman who takes small steps also inspires others. Her example shows that big dreams are attainable not by magic, but by as consistent effort, by discipline, by action, by patience. Her courage, her persistence, her willingness to start small becomes a beacon for other women, showing that transformation is possible for anyone who dares to begin. Small steps, when repeated daily, build habits. Habits shape identity. The woman who takes small, deliberate actions becomes someone who acts, who grows, who evolves, not by chance but by design. These habits accumulate into competence, independence, and mastery. And mastery transforms life far more than any instant success ever could. Empowerment is a word that is often spoken, yet so many women misunderstand its true meaning. Many believe empowerment comes from others, being supported by a partner, praised by family, recognized by society, or even provided financial security. And while support can be valuable, true lasting empowerment does not come from anyone else. It comes from one source. It calls self-reliance. When a woman learns to depend on herself, to trust her own abilities, to create her own solutions, she unlocks a power that no one can take away, no circumstance can diminish, and no failure can break. Self-reliance begins with awareness. It begins with seeing yourself as capable, as competent, as someone who can navigate life's challenges without waiting for permission, approval, or assistance. A self-reliant woman does not wait for someone to rescue her from difficulty. She does not wait for someone to give her the tools, the money, or the opportunities. She looks at her situation, assesses her resources, and acts. She understands that no external source of validation, protection, or wealth can replace her own effort, determination, and intelligence. And in this realization lies the seed of empowerment. Being self-reliant does not mean refusing help when it is available. It means that your core power does not depend on help. It means that your confidence, your stability, your ability to thrive comes from within. A woman who is self-reliant can accept support gracefully, but she does not require it to survive, to grow, or to succeed. She has cultivated her own resources, skills, knowledge, habits, and resilience that allow her to navigate life independently. And this independence is freedom. Freedom from fear, from dependency, from manipulation, from judgment. Freedom to choose to act and to live authentically. True empowerment comes when a woman stops measuring her value through external validation. Too many women have learned to look for confirmation from others, a partner who will appreciate them, a family who will recognize them, a society that will respect them. And when validation does not come, they feel powerless. But the self-reliant woman knows that her worth is not dictated by anyone else. She creates her own standards, sets her own goals, and evaluates her own progress. She is accountable to herself first, and through this accountability, she gains a power that cannot be borrowed or stolen. Self-reliance also builds courage. When you know you can handle your own life, when you trust your ability to make decisions, solve problems, and overcome obstacles, fear loses its grip. You no longer hesitate because of uncertainty or scarcity. You take action because you know that even if failure comes, you have the strength to recover, to adapt, and to continue. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the mastery of fear through self-reliance. And every act of self-reliance reinforces courage, creating a cycle of growth and empowerment that strengthens a woman's spirit every single day. Financial independence is one of the most visible forms of self-reliance, but it is not the only one. Emotional independence, intellectual independence, and moral independence are equally essential. A woman who is emotionally self-reliant does not allow others to manipulate her through guilt, fear, or expectation. She understands her emotions, she manages her reactions, and she communicates her boundaries clearly. A woman who is intellectually self-reliant seeks knowledge, forms her own opinions, and makes decisions based on wisdom, not on popular opinion. And a woman who is morally self-reliant lives according to her own values, even when it is difficult, even when it goes against the crowd. These layers of independence compound to create true empowerment. Self-reliance transforms challenges into opportunities. Life will always present obstacles, financial struggles, relationship difficulties, societal pressures, health concerns, but the self-reliant woman faces these challenges with confidence. She sees them not as barriers, but as invitations to grow. When resources are limited, she finds creative solutions. When support is absent, she discovers strength within. When doubt arises, she trusts her judgment. Every challenge she overcomes reinforces her belief in herself, creating momentum that propels her forward. Another key aspect of self-reliance is responsibility. To be self-reliant is to take full ownership of your life, your choices, and your results. You do not blame circumstances, you do not rely on luck, and you do not wait for someone else to fix your problems. You accept your role in your own life, knowing that every decision you make carries weight, and that every action you take shapes your reality. Responsibility is not a burden, it is a source of power, because it puts you in control. And control over your own life is the essence of empowerment. Self-reliance also strengthens resilience. A woman who depends on herself develops the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to endure hardship, and to thrive despite challenges. She does not crumble when things go wrong, because she knows she has the tools to rebuild. She does not feel defeated by scarcity, because she knows how to create abundance through effort and ingenuity. And she does not fear rejection, because she understands that her value is not contingent on others' approval. Resilience, confidence, and resourcefulness, these are the hallmarks of a self-reliant woman. A self-reliant woman inspires those around her. She becomes a living example of what is possible when a woman trusts herself, works for herself, and refuses to depend on others for her sense of power. She demonstrates that empowerment is not given, it is claimed. It is earned through courage, determination, and unwavering belief in oneself. And this example encourages other women to step into their own power, creating a ripple effect that transforms communities, societies, and generations. Ultimately, empowerment comes from self-reliance because it is a vast power that cannot be taken. Money can be lost, recognition can fade, relationships can fail, but a woman who has cultivated self-reliance carries her power with her wherever she goes. She can create, adapt, and thrive in any circumstance. She can make decisions confidently, act boldly, and live authentically. And in this power lies freedom, the freedom to live life on her terms, to pursue her dreams without fear, and to embrace her full potential. Adversity is not a curse. It is not a punishment. It is not a reflection of your inadequacy. Yet for many women, the moment they face difficulty, scarcity, rejection, or hardship, they feel defeated. They believe that life is unfair, that the world is against them, or that their dreams are impossible. And it is true, life is often unfair. Challenges arrive without warning. Opportunities are not guaranteed. Circumstances can be harsh. But adversity is also a teacher, a sculptor, a hidden ally. It is through adversity that character is built, strength is forged, and resilience is cultivated. Character is not revealed in moments of comfort. It is revealed in moments of trial. When everything is smooth, when life is easy, anyone can appear strong, confident, and capable. But real character emerges when the world tests you, when doors close, when expectations fail, when resources are scarce, and when hope seems distant. The woman who faces adversity and refuses to give in demonstrates the essence of true strength. She discovers qualities within herself she never knew existed: courage, patience, determination, and the ability to rise above circumstance. Adversity teaches lessons that comfort never can. When a woman experiences financial hardship, she learns the value of resourcefulness, the importance of planning, and the strength of persistence. When a relationship fails, she learns self-respect, the importance of boundaries, and the truth that her worth is not defined by someone else's love. When society dismisses her abilities or underestimates her potential, she learns resilience, self-belief, and the power of proving herself through action rather than words. Each challenge is an opportunity to grow, to refine, and to become more than she was yesterday. Many women fear adversity because it is uncomfortable. Scarcity, loss, rejection, and struggle are not easy experiences. They test patience, endurance, and mental strength. But it is precisely this discomfort that drives transformation. Comfort allows stagnation. Struggle demands growth. When a woman faces adversity, she is forced to find solutions, to adapt, and to innovate. She cannot rely solely on external support because often it is unavailable. She must look inward, trust her abilities, and take action. And in doing so, she discovers a depth of courage and capability that comfort could never reveal. Adversity also strengthens clarity. When life is easy, distractions are abundant. When the world is favorable, the mind can wander, desires can become superficial, and priorities can be unclear. But when hardship strikes, the superficial falls away, the unimportant fades. What remains is what truly matters. A woman facing adversity learns to prioritize, to focus, and to recognize her true goals. She learns which battles are worth fighting, which relationships are worth nurturing, and which habits, thoughts, and actions truly serve her growth. Hardship reveals the essentials, and in this revelation lies power. Adversity builds empathy and understanding. The woman who has faced struggle is often more compassionate, more patient, more willing to help others who face similar challenges. She understands the weight of difficulty, the pain of disappointment, and the courage it takes to persevere. Her experiences allow her to guide, mentor, and inspire others. Strength is not only personal, it becomes relational. The character she develops through adversity benefits not only herself, but everyone who crosses her path. Her story, her resilience, and her example become a source of hope for those who feel lost, defeated, or powerless. Another powerful aspect of adversity is that it cultivates patience. Transformation does not happen overnight. Growth takes time. Success is rarely immediate, and the woman who faces challenges learns that progress is incremental, that setbacks are not failure, and that persistence over time is the true measure of strength. She learns to trust the process, to remain disciplined, and to continue moving forward even when immediate results are invisible. Patience becomes a pillar of her character, and with it comes a quiet confidence that no storm can shake. Adversity also encourages self-reliance. When external resources, support, or comfort are lacking, a woman must depend on herself. She discovers skills, strategies, and abilities she might never have explored in moments of ease. She becomes a problem solver, a strategist, a thinker, a doer. She learns that her value is not in what others provide, but in what she can create, adapt, and achieve with her own effort. Every challenge she overcomes adds to her self-trust, her independence, and her inner authority. Strength through adversity is not about avoiding pain, it is about embracing it as part of growth. Every obstacle is a teacher. Every struggle is an opportunity. Every failure is a step toward mastery. And the woman who understands this does not fear difficulty. She does not shrink from challenges. She does not allow setbacks to define her or diminish her spirit. Instead, she sees adversity as a chance to sharpen herself, to build resilience, and to prove to herself and the world that she is capable of more than she ever imagined. Adversity also fosters courage in decision-making. When life challenges her, The woman cannot rely on certainty, guidance, or external guarantees. She must act. She must make choices, take responsibility, and face consequences. This develops decisiveness, accountability, and moral strength. Courage, decisiveness, and confidence are not learned in safety. They are forged in pressure. And these qualities define a woman's character more than comfort ever could. The woman who embraces adversity ultimately gains mastery over herself. She understands that life will never be completely predictable, that comfort is temporary, and that control is only possible over her actions, thoughts, and choices. She cultivates resilience, patience, focus, and determination, and she discovers a power that no challenge can take from her. The hardships she endures are no longer burdens. They are tools of transformation. Every obstacle becomes a teacher, every difficulty a forge, every struggle a step toward the woman she is meant to become. Many women get trapped by what they see in front of them. They focus on the bills that need to be paid, the jobs that feel limited, the relationships that feel unfulfilling, and the scarcity that surrounds them. They see the current struggle and believe it defines their future. They see the limitations and assume those limitations are permanent. And in doing so, they allow the present to dictate their dreams, their ambitions, and even their self-worth. But the woman who achieves greatness, the woman who creates a life of freedom, independence, and fulfillment, sees us beyond her present circumstances. She does not allow her current situation to define her potential. She imagines the future she desires and works toward it relentlessly, knowing that today is only a stepping stone, not the destination. Vision begins in the mind. It begins when a woman chooses to imagine a life that feels impossible in her current reality. She pictures herself confident, independent, successful, and fulfilled, even if today she feels trapped, undervalued, or limited. She does not let scarcity or struggle narrow her imagination. Instead, she expands her mind to see the possibilities that exist beyond what she can immediately touch, measure, or control. And this vision becomes a compass, guiding every choice, every action, and every step she takes. It is easy to be consumed by immediate challenges. A lack of money may feel suffocating. Daily responsibilities may feel overwhelming. Criticism from others may feel discouraging. And when a woman focuses only on these realities, she can lose sight of what is possible. But vision allows her to rise above immediate obstacles. It reminds her that her circumstances are temporary, that scarcity is not permanent, and that the life she desires is within reach if she is willing to work, grow, and persist. Vision transforms limitation into opportunity, struggle into motivation, and fear into strategy. Having a vision beyond present circumstances also builds resilience. When a woman is guided by a clear picture of the future, setbacks become temporary. Failure becomes feedback. Obstacles become challenges to overcome rather than barriers to stop her. She understands that the difficulties of today do not define the possibilities of tomorrow. And with this understanding, she can take risks, make bold choices, and pursue opportunities that others might avoid because of fear or uncertainty. Vision strengthens resolve because it shifts the focus from what is now to what can be achieved. Vision beyond the present also requires faith. Faith in herself, her abilities, and the process of growth. It is not enough to see the life she wants. She must believe it is attainable. This belief fuels action. Without belief, vision is simply wishful thinking. But when she combines vision with faith, she begins to take deliberate steps every day to align her current actions with her desired future. She invests time in learning, practicing, and building skills. She nurtures relationships that support growth. She seeks knowledge that expands her understanding and opens doors she could not previously see. Every step she takes, guided by vision, bridges the gap between her present reality and the life she imagines. Vision also provides focus. When the present is difficult, it is easy to become distracted by trivial concerns, by the opinions of others, or by fear of failure. But a woman with a strong vision keeps her eyes on the destination. She filters out noise, avoids unnecessary drama, and dedicates herself to what matters most. She prioritizes actions that move her closer to her goals, knowing that consistent, focused effort compounds over time into progress and achievement. And in this way, vision transforms not only the way she thinks, but the way she acts, creating alignment between intention and effort. Another critical aspect of vision beyond circumstances is patience. Transformation does not happen overnight. Growth does not occur in a straight line. The life she desires will require effort, time, and persistence. But with vision, she can endure the waiting, the setbacks, and the slow progress. She understands that the small choices she makes today, learning a new skill, saving a little money, practicing self-discipline, compound into significant change over months and years. Vision gives her the perspective to see today's challenges as temporary, small pieces of a larger journey toward her ultimate goals. Vision also fosters creativity and problem solving. When a woman looks beyond what is immediately in front of her, she begins to imagine solutions others might not see. She sees potential in obstacles, opportunities in scarcity, and possibilities where others see none. Her imagination becomes a tool of empowerment. She devises strategies to overcome financial limitations, to navigate difficult relationships, and to access opportunities that would remain invisible to someone focused only on the present. Vision allows her to see paths that are not obvious, to create her own opportunities, and to craft a life aligned with her highest potential. Moreover, vision inspires confidence. When a woman knows the life she wants, she begins to act as though she is already on that path. She makes choices from a place of possibility rather than limitation. She speaks with authority, carries herself with poise, and approaches challenges with the mindset of someone destined to succeed. Confidence is a byproduct of vision because when you see your destination clearly, you trust that you can get there. And this trust radiates outward, attracting opportunities, allies, and circumstances that support your journey. Finally, vision beyond present circumstances cultivates hope. In moments of struggle, scarcity, or rejection, hope is a powerful anchor. It is the belief that the future is not defined by the present, that effort is not wasted, and that a better life is attainable. A woman with vision does not despair in adversity because she sees the possibilities beyond it. She knows that challenges are temporary, that perseverance pays off, and that every choice she makes moves her closer to the life she desires. Vision keeps her moving forward, even when the path is difficult, uncertain, or lonely. A woman who develops a vision beyond her present circumstances transforms her mindset, her actions, and ultimately her life. She understands that today's struggles are temporary, that scarcity is not permanent, and that effort aligned with intention compounds into results. She imagines the future she desires, believes it is attainable, focuses on her goals, and takes consistent action every day to turn possibility into reality. She sees opportunities where others see obstacles, solutions where others see problems, and hope where others see despair. Vision gives her clarity, resilience, creativity, patience, confidence, and hope, and through it, she begins to create a life far beyond what her present circumstances might suggest.